Fix old cameras. Your successful completion of the demonstrated repair ultimately depends on the quality of your tools, the condition of your camera, and most importantly, your repair ability.
Beautiful camera. Won't wind. Won't release. Jammed. Well, I guess we will have to figure out how to get the side panel off. The leatherette or leather on these are fragile and tears easily. You'll need to saturate with alcohol, the camera of course, and take your time with patience and persistence to gently ease it off. Do not be stingy with the alcohol or the patience. Don't rush it or force it, it will tear. If done properly, it is easily removed. If you get in a hurry, you will tear it. Otherwise, it'll come off nicely. The side panel leatherette or leather removed, the screws are now accessible. There is a total of 5 screws, and they need to be removed with a properly sized slotted screwdriver. But before we can remove the side panel, we will have to remove the outer wind knob. And the outer wind knob is held in with a large screw that is hiding underneath a small piece of leather. Often, the little piece will be the one that is most resistant to being removed and will stubbornly cling to its home. Again, patience, persistence, and lots of alcohol. Success. It's damaged a little bit, but it'll look okay. Now the screw needs to be removed. It's a large slotted screw with a fairly narrow slot, so again, find a screwdriver that fits it properly. Then remove the outer knob. You may take the screws from the inner knob out at this time. There are 3. Oops, it's easy to overlook the washer and lose it. Anyway, once the screws are removed, the inner knob can just be left in place for now. Or the screws can be left in place too. Do not remove this large screw in the corner of the camera, and with the outer knob removed, the plate comes free. I'm going to interrupt this repair for a slight diversion. The front panel doesn't actually need to be removed for this repair, but it might need to be removed for other reasons. The screws are hiding underneath the leather in the corners and can be accessed by peeling the leather back. The PC socket is held in with a retainer that can be removed with a spanner. Or, if it's not too tight, a blade of a screwdriver pressed against it will break it free. Okay, the other thing that's unique with this is that the posts for the speed control and the aperture control are held with a set screw. They're accessed under the leather through the little holes and only need to be loosened. Also note as the front panel is removed, the position of the different linkages. Okay, back to the repair at hand. You can now remove what we're calling the inner wind hub. Note the torsion spring and how it connects into the slot of the wind hub itself. Remove the retaining screw for the large spoked wind gear. The spoked wind gear and the wind hub will need to be removed together. You probably need to work them back and forth and wiggle them a little bit to get them to slide off their shafts. Note how they mesh together through the slot. The fiddly levers, the group of fiddly levers throughout the mechanism, that control the counter start and stop, the end of film, the advance and release interlock, they're not functioning. It's locked up the camera. No attempt is going to be made to describe or name the various levers. There is a spring that's detached, and there's some lubrication that needs to be applied, and hopefully by watching how the levers function and interact, you'll be able to determine how they work. Now that they've been cleaned and lubricated with a light lithium grease, we can work the mechanism so you can see how they interact with each other. And here, as the film door opens and closes, you can see the pin push against the levers. You can also see how the levers slide underneath the eccentric screws and pivot on the post screws. Okay, enough of that. Getting kind of boring. If you want more lever action, just rewatch it. The upper levers will need to be manipulated a bit as the wind spoke, the spoked gear and the wind hub are assembled. You'll note by the demonstration in the video how the pieces go together before they're laid into place. The two thin plates that go underneath the wind hub will need to be laid in place, and then the wind hub and the large spoked gear will need to be timed and put together as shown, and then pressed into position together. It will take some fiddling about and some persistence and patience to get everything seated properly. Fiddle, fiddle, fiddle. But we're getting it. Well, a little more fiddling about. Once the spoke shaft and the wind hub are in position, to get them to seat completely, you'll need to pull the lever back so that it can seat down. Once they're seated, you'll need to make sure that all the various springs that operate the levers are hooked over their proper positions so that the levers will react properly. Before you put the large spoke gears retaining screw in, make sure the washer is in place. With the retaining screw for the large sprocket gear in place, you can then take the time to align the screw holes for the hub and the plates. Then align the torsion spring tab of the secondary wind hub with the slot in the wind hub and press into place. Install the 3 screws for the secondary wind hub. Well, maybe we were calling the secondary wind hub the inner wind hub. Either way, install it. Temporarily install the outer wind knob and operate the camera so that the functionality of the different levers and the wind gear and the sprocket gear and the counter gear can all be observed. Note how once the counter dial reaches 12, the camera wind knob continues to wind on past that point, which would allow the film leader to be rolled up on the spool. Open and close the film door to make certain that the counter dial resets itself as it should. The film door opening counter reset functionality is handled by the lower set of small levers that we looked at through a close-up earlier in the video. With some satisfaction that the levers are all functioning as they should, we can reassemble the side panel. Maybe we'll just speed up the side panel installation. And how about this one? I'm not the fig plucker nor the fig plucker's son, but I'll pluck figs till the fig plucking's done. Oh man, sure got a lot of nerve. Alrighty then, so is it Ikoflex Favorit or Ikoflex Favorit?
Thank you for watching. Inspired? Check back for new video postings.